Hello, my dear friends, my wonderful elders. How are you all today? I hope you're healthy, happy, and surrounded by peace. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I love reading your messages from around the world, from Pakistan, India, the UK, Canada, America, every corner of the globe. You all make this community so special. Before we start, I want to say thank you, truly from the heart. The love, prayers, and positive comments you leave on my videos, I read every one of them. You inspire me to keep making these videos for all my respected seniors who want to live their best years peacefully, wisely, and with self-respect. If you're new here, welcome to MrJamAdvice, the channel where we talk about real-life advice for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. We share wisdom, health tips, emotional guidance, and lessons that help us make sense of this beautiful yet challenging stage of life called old age. So, my friends, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell, because every week we share valuable advice that could truly change your life after 60. Now, today's topic is quite interesting, and honestly, it's something many of us have heard from our elders or even practiced ourselves. You must have heard someone say, "At this age, you shouldn't be going around visiting so much." Maybe your son said it. Maybe your daughter-in-law hinted at it. Or maybe an elderly neighbor told you, "After a certain age, stay home. Don't roam too much." At first it sounds strange, doesn't it? We think, why not visit? Isn't meeting people good for the heart? Isn't social connection important to fight loneliness? Yes, and that's true. Staying connected, meeting loved ones, and talking with people is vital for emotional well-being. But the old saying doesn't mean lock yourself in your home. It means limit unnecessary movement, don't make going around a habit. Because your body and mind in old age don't recover the way they used to. You see, in youth, we could go to 3 weddings in one day, attend a friend's house at night, travel the next morning and still be fine. But after 60 or 70, even one long outing can drain your energy for days. I've seen this with so many elders. They go to a wedding or family visit. They smile and enjoy it, but the next day, they're down with body pain, indigestion, or fatigue. The body just doesn't bounce back like before. That's why our elders used to say, "The body in old age is like a lantern, its light still shines. But the oil must be used carefully." Isn't that true? If we waste our limited energy on constant visits, unnecessary trips, or social obligations, we risk burning out that lantern too fast. And another thing, my friends, when we say don't go visiting too much, it's not just about physical tiredness. It's also about emotional and mental peace. As we age, our hearts become more sensitive. We get affected by other people's words, attitudes, or even their problems. Sometimes, visiting too many homes means exposing yourself to different energies, some positive, some negative. One visit might lift your mood, but another might leave you feeling sad, unappreciated, or emotionally drained. And that emotional exhaustion quietly affects your sleep, your appetite, and even your blood pressure. So yes, social connection is good, but constant visiting, constant travel, and constant social obligations are not. What our elders really meant was, choose peace over pressure. Now, let me tell you something from my own observation. Whenever I meet elders who look calm, healthy, and strong, they usually have one thing in common. They live a quiet life. They stay mostly in their own home, take care of their health, maintain a daily routine, and meet people only occasionally when it's truly meaningful. They aren't running around trying to please everyone or attend every event. They've learned that real happiness after 60 doesn't come from how many people you meet, it comes from how peaceful your mind feels. So today, let's talk about the reasons behind this old saying, why people in old age are advised not to go visiting around too much. You'll see that behind this advice lies a lot of wisdom, medical truth, and emotional understanding. Stay with me till the end, because I'll share the 5 main reasons that explain this advice from the viewpoint of health, emotions, and daily life. I promise by the end of this video, you'll look at this old saying with new respect, not as a restriction, but as a gentle reminder to protect your peace, your health, and your golden years. So grab your tea or your warm water, sit comfortably, and let's begin. Reason number 1, physical exhaustion and hidden health strain. All right, my dear friends. Let's begin with the first, and one of the most important reasons, physical exhaustion and the hidden strain that comes with too much visiting around in old age. You see, after the age of 60 or 70, our body is not the same as it once was. Even if we feel young at heart, our muscles, joints, heart, and energy system are much slower than before. The recovery time increases, and even small activities that used to be effortless now quietly tire us out. Think about it. When you go visiting someone, it sounds simple, right? But look at what really happens. You get ready, you change clothes, maybe walk to the car, sit in traffic, climb stairs, sit for hours, talk, eat, and then come back home. For a young person, this is nothing, but for a senior, that's a full workout, and the tiredness doesn't always show immediately. You might feel fine that evening, but the next day your knees ache, your back hurts, or your blood pressure suddenly spikes. Many elders don't connect the dots, they think it's just old age. But in truth, it's your body's way of saying, I need more rest, not more running around. Modern medical science supports this too. After 65, the body's energy reserves, what doctors call mitochondrial capacity, naturally decrease. Your heart takes longer to return to its normal rhythm after activity, and your muscles need longer recovery time. That means every long trip, every tiring visit, or even sitting too long in an unfamiliar chair, puts your body under hidden physical stress. And when you do that repeatedly, it builds up and slowly affects your immune system, blood pressure, and sleep quality. Another problem many elders face is joint stiffness and swelling. Sitting for hours in cars or at relatives' homes can make arthritis worse. And when you return home exhausted, you don't feel like exercising or stretching, which only worsens stiffness. So what happens next? Fatigue piles up. You stop going for your evening walk. Your digestion slows down and you begin to feel old, not because of age, but because your body is overworked. That's why the elders of old times were so wise. They used to say, after 60, keep your steps measured. They didn't have scientific terms, but they understood the truth that energy must be conserved like treasure. Let me share a short story. A gentleman I know, 72 years old, very active and social. He loves meeting relatives, going to weddings, visiting friends. One week he attended 3 functions back to back. He said, I feel young again. But after those 3 events, he was completely exhausted. His blood pressure rose, his sugar levels went off balance, and he ended up in bed for almost a week. The doctor told him something very simple. You didn't do anything wrong. You just did too much for your age. And that, my friends, is the reality of aging. We must respect our limits not with sadness but with wisdom. You know, the body in old age is like a mobile phone with a weak battery. Still works beautifully, but it drains faster. So if you keep opening too many apps, or in our case, too many activities, visits, and travels, it'll shut down sooner. But if you keep it charged, rest it, and use it wisely, it'll last you much longer. That's why smart elders learn to say no politely. They don't attend every gathering. They prioritize rest, good food, and gentle walks over constant movement. They realize that their peace and health are worth more than any social duty. So my advice, my friends, is simple. Don't feel guilty for skipping a visit. Don't feel like you're becoming antisocial. You're just being wise with your energy. Your health is not something to test, it's something to protect. When you save your energy, you actually have more strength to enjoy the moments that truly matter. Your grandchildren's laughter, your evening tea, your peaceful prayers, your quiet walks. So yes, that old saying, don't go visiting too much in old age, carries deep truth. It's not about stopping life. It's about slowing it to your body's rhythm. That's the key to long-lasting health and strength after 60. Now, we've talked about physical tiredness and hidden strain, but that's just one part of the story. In the next part, we'll talk about something equally important: how frequent visiting can expose elders to infections and weaken immunity, especially in today's world. So stay with me, my dear friends, and let's understand reason 2 why staying home more can actually keep you safer and healthier. Reason number 2, risk of infection and weak immunity. All right, my dear friends, let's move to the second reason why. In old age, one should not go visiting around too much. This reason is something science strongly supports. It's the risk of infection in our weakened immune system as we grow older. You see, when we were young, our body's defense system, our immunity was strong like a shield. We could shake hands with hundreds of people, eat street food, travel in crowds, and still bounce back easily from small illnesses. But after 60 or 70, that shield slowly becomes thinner. The body takes longer to fight even small viruses or bacteria. And sometimes, Even a simple cough or cold from someone else can turn into something serious. Chest infection, pneumonia, or high fever. That's why our elders used to say, at this age, don't move around too much. Stay where your body feels safe. Let me explain it in simple terms. Every time you visit someone's house or attend a gathering, you're entering a new environment. Different air, different hygiene, different people all bringing their own invisible germs. Now those germs might not harm them, but for someone older, with slower immunity, they can cause real trouble, especially in winters. Or when there's a flu going around, one small exposure can become days of coughing, weakness, or even hospitalization. And here's the thing, older people's symptoms are often hidden. Sometimes you won't even realize you're getting sick until the body is already weak. A friend of mine, 68 years old, went to visit his relatives for just one weekend. Everything was fine there, but a few days later he started feeling tired, had a mild cough and thought it was nothing. Within a week, he had pneumonia and had to stay in the hospital for almost 10 days. When the doctor spoke to him, he said, "Your immune system doesn't fight like before. You have to protect it by staying away from unnecessary exposure." That really opened his eyes, and now he says, "My peace is at home. My health is my guest now." Even medical studies prove that after 65, the immune system becomes slower to respond. Vaccines, medicines, and rest all work, but prevention is the real key. And one of the simplest ways to prevent illness is to limit physical social visits, especially to crowded or unfamiliar places. It doesn't mean cutting off people, it means using wisdom to protect your health. You can still stay connected by phone, video call, or short visits in safe environments, but avoid long stays, crowded events, and unpredictable homes. Another thing many elders don't realize is that stress and travel also lower immunity. Even if you're emotionally happy while visiting, your body feels the physical stress, new bed, new food, maybe a sleepless night, and that reduces your natural defense power for a few days. That's why many elders fall sick after returning home from visits, not during them. The body finally relaxes, and that's when the hidden weakness shows up. So the best way to stay strong? Protect your environment. Keep your surroundings clean, peaceful, and stable. When your body gets used to a certain air, water, food, and routine, it becomes more balanced. Frequent changes break that balance and make you more vulnerable to illness. My dear friends, our elders were not doctors, but their advice was full of common sense and quiet wisdom. They knew that every trip, every visit, every exposure came with a hidden cost to health. And at this stage of life, we must live smart, not fast. You've earned your peace. You don't owe the world constant presence. You owe yourself good health and calm days. So if someone ever says, "You don't visit much these days," you can smile and reply, "I visit my peace every day, that's more important." Because the truth is, when you protect your health, you also protect your ability to keep loving and caring for others longer. That's the goal, not isolation but balance. So my dear friends, remember, stay social, stay connected, but stay safe. Limit your visits, especially during seasons of colds or infections. Meet people in open, clean spaces or short sessions, but don't push your body beyond comfort. Your health is your lifelong guest. Take care of it. Now that we've talked about the physical and health reasons, let's move to another powerful truth behind this saying. Sometimes it's not just the body that gets tired, it's the mind and heart. In the next part, we'll talk about reason 3, emotional drain and mental fatigue. How constant social visiting can quietly disturb your peace of mind and emotional balance in old age. So my dear elders, take a sip of your tea, relax your shoulders, and let's continue this journey of wisdom. Reason number 3, emotional drain and mental fatigue. My dear friends, we've talked about how too much visiting can affect your physical health, your energy, your immunity, your body's strength. But there's another side to this, a side that many people never talk about, and that is the emotional and mental drain that comes from visiting too often in old age. You see, when we grow older, something beautiful happens. Our hearts become softer, more sensitive, more emotional. We begin to value small things, a kind word, a peaceful day, a moment of silence. But this same sensitivity also makes us more vulnerable to emotional disturbance. And when we go around visiting too much, different homes, different people, different conversations, we don't just move our bodies, we move our energy too. Think about it, my friends, every home has its own atmosphere. Some homes are filled with warmth and love. You feel peace the moment you walk in. But some homes have tension, arguments, gossip, or negative energy that you can almost feel. And when you're older, your heart absorbs all of that. Even if people smile and serve you tea, you can sense the hidden emotions, the stress, the worries, the silent conflicts. After returning home, you might feel tired, heavy, or sad, but you can't explain why. That's not physical tiredness, that's emotional fatigue. Let me share a story. An elderly lady, 74 years old, once told me, "I love visiting my relatives, but every time I come back, I feel sad. I hear people complain, I see family arguments, and then I start thinking about my own past." That's emotional overload. When you're younger, you can ignore it. But in old age, your heart becomes like a sponge. It soaks up every emotion around you. So when you visit too many people, you collect too much emotional energy, some good, some bad. And then you carry that burden home with you. Psychologists even have a name. For this, they call it emotional fatigue or social exhaustion. It happens when your brain and heart are overloaded with social interactions, noise, and emotions. In younger people, it can cause irritability. But in older adults, it often shows up as sadness, confusion, forgetfulness, or sleepless nights. You might notice that after a long visit, you can't sleep well, or your mind keeps replaying conversations, or you start worrying about someone else's problems. That's your heart saying, "I need peace. I need quiet." You see, my friends, peace is the oxygen of old age. Without it, even the most active and healthy person begins to fade. That's why our elders said, "Don't go around too much in old age." They didn't mean stop living, they meant protect your inner calm. Because too many visits mean too many emotions, joy, sadness, comparison, judgment, all mixing in your heart. And peace disappears quietly in that crowd. Another problem is expectations. When you visit others, sometimes you expect warmth or respect, but not everyone treats you the same way. Some people are busy, distracted, or even disrespectful. And that hurts deeply. I've seen elders come back from visits not refreshed but hurt. They say, "They didn't even offer me tea. They were on their phones the whole time. I felt like I was disturbing them." Those moments can cut deeper than any physical pain. And the more you visit, the more chances you give others to disappoint you. That's why peace is often found not in more company but in better company. Choose where you go. Choose whom you meet. Choose peace over obligation. My dear friends, there is nothing selfish about protecting your emotions. Your peace is your medicine. Your calm mind is your true wealth. It's okay to love people from a distance. It's okay to say, "I'll call you instead." It's okay to spend your Sunday in silence instead of rushing to meet someone. Because the older you get, the more your heart needs stillness, not stimulation. So yes, that old saying again carries deep wisdom. When they said, "Don't go visiting too much," they were protecting your mind and soul. They knew that a peaceful home, a calm heart, and a few good relationships are worth more than 100 visits. So my dear friends, take care of your emotional energy. Keep it balanced. Meet people who make you laugh, who make you feel light. Avoid places that drain you or leave you restless. Because peace of mind is not found in the crowd, it's found in your own calm company. Now that we've talked about emotional fatigue, let's move to another. Reality of life after 60, something many of us quietly face but rarely talk about. Reason 4, the financial and social pressure that often comes with constant visiting. Yes, even small visits can sometimes become a silent burden on your pocket and on your peace. So stay with me, my dear friends, as we talk about how to protect not just your health and heart, but also your financial well-being and dignity in old age. Reason number 4, financial and social pressure. All right, my dear friends, now let's talk about something very real, something that quietly affects many elders, but we often don't like to admit it. And that is the financial and social pressure that comes from visiting around too much. You see, in our culture, especially among families and friends, visiting is not just about meeting. It often comes with expectations. When you go to someone's house, you take a gift, fruits, maybe sweets, or something small to show love. And when they come to your house, you feel you must host them nicely tea, snacks, sometimes even a meal. Now, none of this is bad. It's part of our hospitality and our traditions. But in old age, these things can quietly become a burden. Most elders today are retired or living on a fixed income. Pensions are limited. Medical costs are high. And yet, out of habit or social pressure, many keep spending on visits, travel costs, gifts, small expenses that, when added up, quietly start eating into their savings. I once met a retired teacher who told me, "I don't even realize where my pension goes. Every week there's some visit, some gathering, some birthday, and I feel I must go." When I asked him why, he doesn't just say no, he said softly, "People might think I've become stingy. I don't want to disappoint anyone." That, my friends, is the trap of social pressure. At this stage of life, you shouldn't have to prove your generosity or keep up appearances. You've already done your part. You've raised families, paid bills, supported others. Now is the time to live peacefully, not to please everyone around you. But society often expects elders to continue being as social and giving as before. And when you try to meet all those expectations, you might start feeling financially stretched and emotionally tired. And that financial strain brings stress. You start worrying about money, your medical needs, and that worry disturbs your sleep and peace. Let's be honest, even traveling costs money now. Buses, fuel, or taxis, everything is expensive. And sometimes when you reach someone's home, you notice the unspoken expectations. They might expect you to bring something, or they might gossip if you don't. That emotional pressure alone can ruin the joy of visiting. Our elders were very wise when they said, "Don't go visiting too much in old age," because they understood something simple. Peace of mind is more valuable than social approval. Here's another truth. When you visit too much, people sometimes start taking you for granted. They might not value your presence anymore, or they assume you have endless free time and money. But when you appear less often and only when it truly matters, people respect you more, and your words carry more weight. So in a way, visiting less actually increases your dignity and respect. My dear friends, you must learn to say something very powerful. "I'll come when I can, but these days I'm living quietly and taking care of my health." That one line says everything. It protects your health, your wallet, and your peace without offending anyone. And remember, true friends and loving relatives will understand. The ones who love you for who you are will not measure your love by how often you visit, but by how sincere your heart is. Now let's talk about another subtle kind of pressure, the comparison that sometimes happens when elders visit different homes. You might see others living in big houses, new cars, fancy things, and quietly start comparing your life to theirs. That comparison can create sadness or regret. But when you stay content in your own space, surrounded by what's familiar and comfortable, your heart feels lighter. Visiting too often sometimes exposes us to unnecessary comparisons, and that steals our gratitude. My friends, the truth is simple. At this stage of life, every rupee, every bit of energy, and every moment of peace counts. Spend them wisely. You don't owe anyone constant visits. You don't owe anyone explanations for living calmly. You owe yourself peace, dignity, and financial security. So yes, there's deep wisdom behind this old saying. When you visit less, you save your energy, your money, and your emotions. You also preserve your peace and independence, and that is priceless. So my dear elders, don't feel guilty for saying no. Learn to choose calm over chaos. Spend your time with people who truly value you, not those who just expect something from you. Because your golden years should not be about pressure, they should be about pleasure, peace, and purpose. Now that we've talked about financial and social pressure, let's move to the next and final reason, the most powerful one of all. Reason 5. Home is healing. Stability keeps you strong. This reason explains why your own home, your familiar space, and your routine are the true sources of health and happiness after 60. So my dear friends, stay with me. The next part will truly touch your heart. Reason 5. Home is healing. Stability keeps you strong. My dear friends, now we come to the final and perhaps the most meaningful reason why elders are advised not to go visiting around too much, and that is this. Home is healing. Your home is your comfort zone, your sanctuary, your safe space. After 60 or 70, your body and your mind crave stability. They no longer enjoy constant change. They find peace in routine, familiarity, and in the quiet rhythm of home life. You see, when you stay in your own home, everything supports your comfort. Your bed fits your body. Your chair knows your posture. Your kitchen runs by your timing. Even the light, the smell, and the sound of your home bring a sense of calm to your mind. That calmness is not small, it's healing. Scientists say that seniors who live in familiar environments have lower stress levels, better sleep, and even stronger memory. Why? Because the brain doesn't have to keep adjusting, it feels safe. But every time you visit somewhere new, new bed, new food, new sounds, new routine, your brain has to work harder. It's a small thing for a young person, but for an older person, it creates mental fatigue and physical imbalance. Let's think about a simple example. When you travel or stay overnight somewhere, do you notice how you can't sleep well? Even if the bed is comfortable, your body doesn't rest properly. That's because your mind is alert, it's in an unfamiliar space. Now imagine doing that again and again, constantly going to relatives, weddings, or functions. Your body never fully resets. That's why our elders used to say, "The old bird rests best in its own nest." There's also something deeply emotional about being home. Every corner has a memory, the wall clock you've had for years, the chair where you drink your tea, the window that shows you the evening sky. These small things give your heart security and continuity, and that continuity is essential in old age. It reminds you that you still belong, that you're still surrounded by love even if you're alone. Your home silently heals you every day through comfort, routine, and peace. When you go visiting too much, you unknowingly break that rhythm. Your meals change, your sleep changes, even your bathroom routine changes. And small disruptions like these can affect digestion, blood pressure, and mood. That's why doctors say after 70, you should maintain a consistent daily routine. Wake up at the same time. Eat on time, rest on time, and avoid unnecessary travel. Because your body performs best when it feels safe and stable. Now, this doesn't mean you should lock yourself away. Of course, visit your loved ones. Attend special occasions and keep your heart open. But let your home remain your main world, your base of peace. Invite people over instead. Let your children and friends visit you. Create moments of joy, right? Where you live, because peace doesn't come from movement. It comes from balance. My dear friends, I've seen so many elders who look years younger than their age. They have one thing in common. They live calmly. They don't chase the world, they let the world come to them. Their homes are like temples full of peace, routine, and gratitude. And because of that peace, their hearts remain young, their faces glow, and their health stays steady. So remember this, your peace lives at home, your healing happens at home, and your strength grows in stability. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, you don't go out much anymore." Smile and tell them, "I go where my peace lives, and that's here." Because truly, after a lifetime of running, working, and caring for everyone else, you've earned the right to rest in your own comfort, surrounded by the simple beauty of your daily life. So yes, my dear elders, that old saying in old age, "Don't go visiting too much," isn't about loneliness. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding that peace, health, and long life come not from movement, but from contentment. Live where your soul feels calm. Spend time with people who bring joy, not stress. And let your home, your humble, peaceful home, be your best companion. Now, we've talked about all 5 reasons. 1, physical exhaustion and hidden health strain. 2, risk of infection and weak immunity. 3, emotional drain and mental fatigue. 4, financial and social pressure. 5, home is healing stability, keeps you strong. Each of these reminds us that peace is the greatest gift of old age, and it's worth protecting. So my dear friends, if you found this video helpful or meaningful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. And don't forget to subscribe to MrJamAdvice, the channel where we share real wisdom for life after 60. Because your best years are not behind you, they're right here, waiting to be lived calmly, wisely, and beautifully. Thank you for watching. May your home stay filled with peace, and may your heart always stay light. Take care, my dear friends. My dear friends, we've reached the end of today's talk. I truly hope this message touched your heart and gave you something to think about deeply. Today, we learned that the old saying in old age, "Don't go visiting around too much," is not about loneliness, it's about wisdom, protection, and peace. Because at this stage of life, we must learn to protect what truly matters: our health, our calm mind, our financial security, and our emotional balance. We discussed 5 powerful truths today. 1, physical exhaustion, how the body in old age needs rest, not rush. 2, weak immunity, how protecting yourself from infections keeps you stronger. 3, emotional fatigue, how too much socializing can quietly drain your peace. Financial and social pressure, how constant visiting can become a silent burden. And finally, 5. Home is healing, how your own space, your own routine, gives your body and mind stability and strength. These are not rules, they're reminders of self-respect. They're a way of saying, I've lived my life for others. Now I must also live a little for myself. My dear elders, your home is not a cage, it's your temple of peace. Your quiet life is not boring, it's healing. Your stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing calmness. You've earned this peace through a lifetime of struggle and sacrifice. Now is the time to rest your body, nourish your soul, and enjoy every small blessing around you. If you take one message from today's video, let it be this. Peace is more important than presence. Not every event needs you. Not every visit deserves your energy. Save yourself for the moments and people that truly matter. Because your time and your health are the most precious gifts you have left, use them wisely. And before we end, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for your love, your comments, and your prayers. You, my dear friends, are the heart of this channel. When you comment things like, Mr. Jam, your words gave me peace, or I feel like you're speaking directly to me, I feel so grateful. That's exactly why I make these videos, to remind you that you are not alone, and that every stage of life has beauty and dignity. If you found value in today's message, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends or WhatsApp groups, and make sure you subscribe to MrJamAdvice, the place where wisdom meets kindness. You can also visit our channel directly here. So youtube.com here, MrJamAdvice. Stay connected, my dear elders, because every week I bring you new advice, honest, thoughtful, and made especially for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Until next time, take care of your health, protect your peace, and remember, you are still valuable, still needed, and still capable of living a beautiful life filled with love and calm. This is MrJamAdvice wishing you all peace, health, and happiness. Take care, my friends. And as always, stay blessed and stay wise.